Hello, Arch Villains. Welcome back to Arch City Comics. I am your host, Adam as Fuck, as usual. Thank you for joining me today. If you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed. The bell is rung for notifications, and you hit that like button. That definitely helps me out. So I found this today on one of my favorite news websites, Bounding Into Comics. If you're not familiar with Bounding Into Comics, I urge you to check them out. They are a great bipartisan, or nonpartisan, I guess I should say, news outlet. They pretty much just report the facts. They don't lean either way. So I came across this. This features two of my absolute favorite people in the comic book industry. Bleeding Cool's Bitch Johnston and the Flying Sparks creator, JON DEL ARROZ. So apparently, Bleeding Cool's Rich Johnston calls Flying Sparks creator JON DEL ARROZ homophobic. Oh, wow. Well, he kind of is. But let's continue here. Let's see what we have to say, what he has to say. So Bleeding Cool's Rich Johnston describes novelist and comic book writer JON DEL ARROZ as homophobic. Johnston took to Twitter where he wrote, "Just because you are homophobic doesn't mean other Christians are." Well, I don't often agree with Mr. Johnston, but I gotta say I agree with him there. So this tweet here from El Campeador, which is JON DEL ARROZ, says, "Your website rabble-rouses against any Christian artist to push the LGBT sin lifestyle all the time, including the article you hit me with this morning. This is the same BS as when you told me there are plenty of conservatives at Marvel/DC. When I asked you for names, you had none." Well, LGBT sin lifestyle. That sounds pretty fucking homophobic to me, if I gotta say. So that was in reply, well, he quote tweeted Rich Johnston, who said, "Why on earth do you think I'm anti-Christian? When have I ever given you that impression, and how?" Then, of course, after the retweet, Johnston replies again, "Nonsense. Just because you're homophobic doesn't mean other Christians are. There are plenty of Christian comic book creators Christian comic book creators as well who don't share your views. Talk to Paul Cornell sometime. He's lovely." Yeah, like I said, I actually got to agree with Rich on this statement for a change. Then Bounding Into Comics writes, "The back and forth between DEL ARROZ and Johnston began after Johnston published an article titled JON DEL ARROZ Identifies Secret Left-Wing #ComicsGate Grifters on Bleeding Cool." The article highlighted JON DEL ARROZ's own article titled The ComicsGate Grifters. Johnston's description of DEL ARROZ came after DEL ARROZ wrote, "Your website rabble-rouses against any Christian artist to push the LGBT sin lifestyle all the time, including the article you hit me with this morning." I could go on. They have the entire long back and forth transcribed on here. Right here, you can see all of the tweets if you want to. I'm not going to go through it all because it went on for a long time, like many Twitter arguments do. But let's go back here, and I'm curious. Let's see, Bleeding Cool. Let's see this article then that Johnston wrote here on the Bleeding Cool website. I swear to this website, other than being one of the trashiest websites I've ever come across, this is tabloid journalism at its best. At its best. So here's this article. JON DEL ARROZ identifies secret left-wing #ComicsGate grifters. JON DEL ARROZ is a comic book creator who is often not happy with Bleeding Cool. Well, not many people are, to be honest with you, bitch. He really didn't like this article we ran a couple of years ago dubbed "How Not to Apply for a Job at Marvel Comics," and it often comes up. But one article he posted this week has a number of associated articles that seem to tell a story, a narrative, if you will. JON DEL ARROZ claims to have created, or at least popularized, the #ComicsGate name, which is very untrue. I've seen this going around a little bit this week. DEL ARROZ did not create it, and I doubt he popularized it because he really doesn't have that big of a fan base. So let's see what he has to say here. The cause of it was because of politics, specifically a left-wing monopoly trying to harm all right-wingers in the business and make sure we don't get to produce books or have any influence. They want all books to force LGBTQ WTF. What? I know they like to add letters all the time, but I'm pretty sure that that's incorrect. There is no doubt. I think the WTF is the homophobism, bigotry coming out of Del Arroz. On children, none have male or white lead characters unless villains, and to push identity politics so that not only are the primary demographic of readers kicked out of comics, but so they stir up anger to get white Christian Republican men out of the country. What the fuck? Nobody's trying to kick... How are they going to kick white Christian Republican men out of the country? Like, I think Del Arroz does an awful lot of drugs. Some really, really strong drugs. But Johnston goes on here. Of course, the audience for such comics is probably still an adult one. Was it forcing heterosexuality on kids to read Peter Parker dating and marrying Mary Jane all those years? Or was it just reflecting the world outside your window? Most superhero comics have male or white leads. In recent years, there's been a slight move. Well, it's been a very big move towards more female leads, and those with a greater ethnic diversity. No one was trying to get rid of all male white leads. Well, you fooled me on that one. The motivation was to increase an audience for comics rather than push people out, and no one at Marvel or DC was trying to get white Christian Republican men out of the country. Once again, I actually have to agree here. Nobody's trying to kick anybody out of the country. But I do disagree. The motivation may have been to increase the audience, but they definitely shrank their audience. Very, very, very much. Continuing. Ike Perlmutter was just wanting to make more money. Also, why one of Trump's largest donors, personal friend of Donald Trump, and part of the administration was directly involved in greenlighting the Spider-Gwen series, co-created by Robbie Rodriguez. More on him later. Oh yeah. Oh, Robbie Rodriguez. Yes, we love him too. We'll dive back into that in a minute. So on August 21st of 2018, oh, this is old, really old. This is, okay, so Del Arroz, he's got a blog. He likes to ramble a lot. He's got a lot of fucking opinions that don't mean diddly squat. I'm going to skip down because too much of him is a bad thing. But so Johnston said, always good to see independent comic books get such support, especially on crowdfunding site. But this had been happening for a while. Pretty much since Womythology kicked the doors down. I have no idea what Womythology is, but it sounds like a terrible title. That doesn't get mentioned here, but it was true. ComicsGaters were encouraged to back ComicsGate projects, a kind of virtual signaling that they were all true ComicsGaters. That's not 100% true. I mean, no. Yeah, you should back ComicsGate projects because they're good. But you don't have to back them to claim that you're ComicsGate. You just have to really hate what they're doing to the mainstream. Oh, blah, blah, blah. He's got more here of Del Arroz. Oh, this is actually kind of good, though. This is from Del Arroz's blog post. They showed their true stripes this last weekend with this, and with a Marvel/DC artist sending pictures of his butthole publicly to Ethan Van Sciver and tagging him. This is the most unprofessional, disgusting industry where people would do that. These aren't fans fed up with bad products. These are the top professionals trying to abuse and hurt people because they don't like that there's alternatives coming up to the work they're putting out. They're running scared and they're getting abusive. Well, wow, I actually agree a little bit with Del Arroz again here. The pros are definitely running scared and they're getting abusive and abrasive. You can just look at Richard Pace's profile for an example. Then Johnston says, I still find it hard to believe that Ethan, giving all the mad stuff he's posted over the years, ever actually gave a toss about Robbie Rodriguez's tweet, but it did help solidify a them and us feeling. Us and them, I think is the term. However, come December 19th, he gave us a new piece on bullying in ComicsGate. Maybe things were starting to change. question. Again, this is where he talks about he gets bullied for hours about being unchristian. Whatever. Blah 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 blah. Here we go. Okay. This week, he, Del Arroz, posted a new article, The ComicsGate Grifters, which is the most anti-hashtag ComicsGate piece I've ever seen from him, and links to the 3 articles mentioned above. Apparently, hashtag ComicsGate is being destroyed by a secret left-wingers using hashtag ComicsGate to take money away from conservatives and in doing to attack. God damn it, bitch! Will you fucking edit your pieces once in a while? Christ! We've mentioned how Doug TenNapel quit hashtag ComicsGate after he was targeted by a subgroup called Warcampaign, and for not being hashtag ComicsGatey enough. Del Arroz sees it differently. Yeah, that's unfucking true. TenNapel left ComicsGate because he got an offer to do that Earthworm Jim fucking book. And he wasn't allowed to do Earthworm Jim while he claimed the hashtag. So he denounced ComicsGate and then hashtag blamed Warcampaign like everybody else does when they get all fucking butthurt. We merely called him out for ditching everybody. He came into ComicsGate, took everybody's money with Bigfoot Bill, which was a trash book, and a trash package on top of it. The book started fucking coming apart. The glue and the pages started separating. It was one of the cheapest books I think I've ever fucking seen. So, Del Arroz writes, the consolidation was done by forcing out anyone with right-wing political beliefs and trying to damage their reputations. Just like the old guard industry did when I started hashtag ComicsGate. What a fucking moron. He did not start ComicsGate. Now a group of Star Wars fans. Really? I don't think everybody in Warcampaign is a Star Wars fan, but okay. And left-leaning internet trolls who took the name Warcampaign decided to try to police people and bully folk on the internet to get their way. A lot of the creators who knew they were riding an outrage train bowed to their wishes rather than doing what was right because the mob seemed to be going in one direction. And all they cared about was the mob. Boy, this dude really likes to talk out of his ass. As somebody in Warcampaign, I can tell you that not everybody in Warcampaign is left-leaning. We just like to leave politics at the door. We're not hateful people. We don't like hateful people. We wish ill upon hateful people, just like hateful people wish ill upon others. That's really about it, actually. He continues, and the mob veered further left. The left wing usurped ComicsGate, a movement that was supposed to be a haven for the right away from these forced leftist identity politics. We've seen it recently as Doug TenNapel has been attacked summarily for his Christian beliefs. They even came and attacked Mike Miller because of his anti-LGBT stances, as if they didn't know it before. No one is safe from the outrage mob, and it's veering further and further left. To clarify, Mike Miller posted a post on Twitter that was anti-LGBT. Yes, we know Mike is a devout Christian, and he doesn't agree with the gay community. The whole thing about ComicsGate, and this is okay right here, when he says a movement that was supposed to be a haven for the right. That is not true. This ComicsGate is not a right-wing movement. ComicsGate is supposed to be a separation of church and state, as it were. Leave your politics at home. Leave your beliefs at home. We don't care. We don't want to hear it. A lot of people in ComicsGate are actually fans anyway, are right down the middle. We don't care if you're left wing or right wing as long as you're not preachy and hateful. you keep that shit out, and you're fine. You can make your comic books and make your money. We'll give you money as long as you make good comic books. Jon Del Arroz does not make good comic books. But grifters came in from the left to take money from conservatives all while this is happening. They think you're too stupid to realize and see it, that you'll just hand them money because they smile at you while they cash the checks and call you stupid behind your back. So I don't think he knows what a grifter means or is. Just to give everybody a little background here. Grift is a verb, so a grifter would be someone who obtains money or property illicitly, as in a confidence game, like a con man, essentially. That's the wrong use of that word there, JDA. Moving on here, Bitch Johnston goes on to say, is it left-wing to be anti-Christian? Is it right-wing to be anti-LGBT? Q+, please remember the Q+. The former was never true, just ask the Methodists. And there's a very strong atheist libertarian right-wing streak in modern society. The right-wing has been catching up to gay rights only about 10 years after most of the left-wing did, though with plenty of holdouts. Yeah. And this almost makes me sick just reading it. Often, when one of them discovers that a member of their family may be gay, sometimes that it's themselves, the gay Tory is no longer the novelty it once was. The gay Tory. Gay Tory? What the hell is he talking about? I have no idea what the fuck this dude is talking about. Anyway. Del Arroz claims to have discovered the traitors in their midst, namely Donald T. DeLay, not Donald Y. Once again here, you've got Bitch Johnston not doing his due diligence, and he's not fucking editing his shit. He's just typing out of his ass and hitting send. This is a tweet from Donald DeLay from back in October of 16. He says, "If you're voting for Trump, let me know so I can block you. Thanks." Now, I'm just gonna continue on. And that DeLay's own hashtag ComicsGate Comics could all be a front. You don't have to put the hashtag every time you say ComicsGate. It's just ComicsGate. The hashtag is just a tag, you idiot. It's supposed to be used on social media. It doesn't mean shit in your fucking article, dummy. So, there's another tweet from Mr. DeLay. He's a capitalistic lefty like me. I could put all sorts of political messages in books I want to make, but I'd rather make money and appeal to a mass audience best I can. Alienating potential customers is dumb. I want to read that again. Alienating potential customers is dumb. Now this man right here, Donald DeLay, he is the artist on Vestige, which is currently in demand on Indiegogo right now. I urge you to go check out that book as well. It's fantastic. It's some of his best work. But this is the whole thing. Yeah. Left, right, it doesn't matter. Don't alienate potential customers. Don't say that gays are bad, because then gay people aren't going to buy your book. Don't say that Christians are dumb, because then Christians aren't going to buy your book. It's simple math. It's simple math. He says it hasn't gone over well. I'm not gonna read all of this, but yeah, I want to read what Donald replies here. He says, "Notice how the screen caps in the article are from election week, almost 3 years ago. I got over it like a normal person, long before I even knew about ComicsGate or who Zach was." He's talking about your boy Zach, Richard C. Meyer. Yeah, normal people, they got over it. They were like, oh, well, it happens. The election's over. We didn't win. We'll try next time, you know. But then here, Guerrero AD says, exactly, which is why Del Arroz's article is full of mierda poop. If there has been anyone who put it all on the line, it's Donald. Liberal or not, Del Arroz is some kind of crybaby liar. Yes, he is. He is a manipulative liar, to be precise. And the one time he tried to back up his lying false accusations completely backfired. Del Arroz's piece might as well have been a bleeding cool article from a Bizarro universe. He says, you know what? I'll take that. And that's how he fucking ends the article. Oh my God. Like this dude, Johnston's a fucking embarrassment. This is my point though. He is nothing but a tabloid journalist. He finds the drama that's going on and he writes about it. And that's all this is. He should not be allowed to call himself an actual journalist. It really bugs me that for years I came to Bleeding Cool as like an actual news source for comic book stuff. So to recap here, Jon Del Arroz is a liar. He likes to spread rumors. He is butthurt that his most recent campaign for Flying Sparks Volume 2 did not do as well as his first one did. And I'll tell you why. Because he is actually a alt-right furry weirdo. Yeah, believe it or not. He is very homophobic. He's into some really strange, disturbing things. I'm not going to go into detail because it's gross. But people like him, people like Tim Lim, Brett R. Smith, these people are alt-right. They are heavy with their right-wing political agendas. And the whole point of ComicsGate is to remove all of that, all left-wing, all right-wing from the industry. Keep it to yourself. You can think, you can believe whatever you want, but don't go around on social media screaming it to the heavens that you don't like gay people, or you don't like black people, or you don't like Christians, any of it. You keep that shit to yourself. If you want to sell books, you leave the politics at home. If these guys want to get together and circle jerk and start their own fucking hashtag right-wing gate or whatever, have at it. Go make your own books, and all you right-wing haters and weirdos, go ahead. I guarantee you're not going to sell nearly as many copies, which is why you didn't sell nearly as many copies of Volume 2 of your terrible book than you did Volume 1. That's the other thing. Flying Sparks is a piece of shit book. I'll drop the link to my review of said shitty book down in the description if you want to go back and check that out. It's a soul-sucking piece of garbage. It's not SJW trash. It's not full of like right-wing politics either. It's just a bad book. All around. It's 1 star. It's trash. It's toilet paper. So yeah. So I had to laugh. I wanted you guys to laugh with me. I wanted to clarify what ComicsGate really is about. And that Jon Del Arroz is a shit disturber, and all he wants the drama. He wants them drama bucks, but he's not going to get them because he doesn't have the talent. You still have to be a good writer to get drama bucks. You do. So, if you like what you see today, make sure you subscribe, please. Ring that bell for notifications. Hit that thumbs up. I'll leave you with one last picture of this walking English stereotype. This is why the English hate the stereotypes. Look at those fucking teeth. Jesus, that hair just screams malnourishment. It does. And this dude just, I mean, if that's not a punchable face, I don't know what is. I don't. But anyway, thank you guys for listening. Remember, there's a new tip jar feature down in the bottom as well. Throw a couple pennies in there. If you feel like I'm doing a decent job, it's all going to go to making this channel even better. Thank you all for joining me. Love you.